Howdy, this is a review and overview of the XP Pen G640. The people at XP Pen were kind enough to send one to me for review, and even though I did receive this product for free, I am allowed free reign of what I say and think about it. However, it's not going to sway my opinion that, again, I was sent this for free, just throwing that out there. I will be giving my honest opinion, and I will tell you the specs and how it performs compared to other tablets, and compare it to my favorites as well. Anyway, let's get started. Starting off with the unboxing, you get what you would expect out of a tablet. Here it is the tablet itself, which is $30 by the way, and it's pretty cheap. Anyway, it has an active area of 6 by 4 inches with a batteryless pen and 20 nibs, which is kind of a godsend considering I go through nibs like girls go through shoes, I don't know. Anyway, kudos to XP Pen, this is a pretty good move. As I think a lot of draggers are going to appreciate the extra nibs here. The pen also has 8,192 levels of pressure, which is irrelevant to OS, but if you consider drawing with this too, the tablet is very accurate with its strokes. Finally, you have the silver-plated micro USB cable, something that is very convenient, and I'm happy it doesn't use some sort of awful medium such as the Gaomon or the 480 and whatever the fuck this is. So yeah, you lose the charger, just get your Android charger or your tablet charger and you are good to go. Moving on to the specs and the build quality. At first glance, this tablet is extremely sleek at 2mm thick, with a reading height of about 10mm. This is the max hover height, by the way. Anyway, the build quality is okay, and it's solid for the most part and doesn't bend or anything, so that's a good thing. The resolution is 5080 LPI with 266 reports per second. However, OS reports it at about 248 to 252, so not a huge loss, but not exactly what it says on the box. Also, if you don't know what LPI or reports per second mean, LPI is how accurately it can draw ink and your taps lines together. It inadvertently affects your reports per second, so the reports per second is like your polling rate on a mouse. It's how many reports it can send per second. Now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and compare these specs with two of my favorite tablets, and let's see how it holds up. Alright, so stat-wise, this thing is kind of leagues above the 480 and the 471 respectively. However, the results are a bit different, and I'll get into that later, but before we get into my thoughts and opinions on this tablet, as well as how it performs, I want to go over the drivers. Now, I tested 3 drivers here. I tested the XP Pen ones, and no drivers with in-game sensitivity scaling, and lastly, the community drivers. Long story short, the XP Pen drivers are subpar. They're better than the 430s, but just aren't on Wacom level yet or community driver level yet. It tries to smooth the cursor and ends up causing noise, which noise makes a cursor vibrate, and it curves slightly when it tries to smooth it. So for now, just stick with community drivers if you want faster and a more specific area, or if you just want to use in-game scaling, there's no problem with that either. And now for my impressions. So let me just start out by saying for $30, this tablet is phenomenal. I mean, it does what a tablet should, and it feels somewhat like a Wacom. Notice I did use somewhat here, and you know, I'll explain more. But as it stands, it's $30. It's available all the time. You can get it on the XP Pen site or an Amazon page. You will always find one. And this is just something that you don't see with a 480 or a 471. It's very hard to find these, and really only secondhand. Anyway, at first I was extremely impressed, and I really thought this would replace my 480. I used it for about a week and didn't notice any real issues, other than the tablet pin just squeaked, which is unique to my model. I did ask other people with it and they didn't have this issue. Nothing major, just something that annoyed the unfortunate people in my Discord calls. So compared to the 480, it is noticeably slower. Not only noticeably, it just feels slower, and just by my test, it just wasn't as quick. This isn't anything major though, it is still faster than every other tablet I tested except for the 480. This means it was faster than the 470 and the 471. Anyway, I did this on the community drivers with the same play areas. Now, I know there's going to be someone who's going to say the active areas are different, which could cause the speed, and this is not the case. The active area between the 480 and the 640 are 0.6 of an inch different, something that would only truly affect a 21:9 player. Which, by the way, if you're a widescreen player, like a super ultra wide player, why are you playing on an ultra wide aspect ratio? Just more work for you, bro. Anyway, again, it's just not enough to change the speed as much as I saw. Anyway, after a week of playing, I did decide to switch back to the 480, and immediately I began to pretty much miss it. The 640 has a really grippy area, kind of like the 471 new does. However, unlike the 471, it doesn't lose its grip with time, which is something I really like as a dragging player. The pen is also very small. I have gargantuan Sasquatch hands, and I normally struggle to fit smaller pens in my hand, but this one surprisingly fit very snug. This in turn made it not slip out of my hand, something that I have an issue with on both the 480 and the 471. And for those wondering, no, the 640's pen does not work with the 480 or the 471. So, my final thoughts. Does it dethrone the 480? I think so, and here's why. Just because it's slower doesn't mean it's bad. It still performs as it should and outperforms the 471. It just, isn't as quick as a 480, which is something that's going to be really hard to do because it's the pinnacle of Wacom tablets, the best they have made. Anyway, the pen is grippy, the pen grips well, and the grippy area also is just a huge plus for dragging players. But I think the biggest thing here is the price, something I consider just as important as its gameplay value, because it is $30, and for $30 it performs identical to a 480 with some exceptions and is better in performance than 471 and every single tablet except the 480 in my testing. And you also get the benefit that it's always available. You don't have to hunt on eBay or in secondhand shops for one that is used, and again, you will get this new for $30, and it's just something you won't see for a 480. Even if you could find one, it's probably used. Anyway, on a closing note, I would like to have a very sincere thank you to Summer from XP Pen for actually reaching out to me to make this review possible. I'm very grateful for the opportunity, and also kudos for the amazing product. Thank you for staying this long, and I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.